It goes, is it coming? Now, another interesting thing is that it also sounds like, and just like I told you before, the hidden messages have several meanings. And is when you hear it, it says, is it coming? Is it coming? It almost sounds like easy coming. Like the through this prosperity, it was a lot of easy coming for a lot of individuals. But it also sounds like, is it coming? Because when the crash happens, people are going to wonder, is it coming back? But while the prosperity is happening, people are saying, what? Easy comings. So you can hear it. Watch. It's easy coming, or is it coming? Very, very similar. And is it coming back? Because when the crash happens, people are going to wonder, is the prosperity going to come back? And that's when the Antichrist is going to come on scene, trying to show that he could bring prosperity for people again. And that's why people are going to follow him. Now, another thing is this individual here is and I know I'm making this video very long. I'm going to try to finish up in the next 2 minutes. But this individual here is a Muslim individual. And just like we talked about before, the war that's going to happen is called Psalms 83 War. And just go to touch back on iPad Goat, we can see it here, that there's a Muslim woman. When this war starts, it's going to be a nuclear war, because Ezekiel, the prophet, describes this war as being the destruction of this war is going to be very similar, and not the same, because nothing comes close to the power of God, but similar to Sodom and Gomorrah. And he says that they're going to plant signs up in the areas that the nukes went off to warn people not to venture into 7 years because of the nuclear radiation. So you have the individual, the child here, dead, which is a Muslim child, and you have a Muslim woman because she's wearing a burqa. And you see the subliminal message of this. Also, this is also shown in Denver Airport with the woman with burqa with the dead child, and it shows depiction of like a desert area, so we know it's the Middle East, and catastrophes happening. This is in the Denver Airport, and just like I told you before, subliminal messages are being shown in different subjects, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and go back so you can get a gist of that. So this starts burning because once the markets crash, this war is going to start immediately. So he drops the newspaper. And another thing, I know I'm jumping around, but there's so much hidden subliminal messages, it's not even funny. You can see here, read here on the magazine or the newspaper, it says InfoWars. So the Muslim reading it says wars. It's because there's going to be a future war after this crash happens. Also, another thing is that you have this symbol here. Now, if you look up the number 6 in Hebrew, it curves just like this. So you have the curving, and they use this to form the W in wars. So you have 666. So another subliminal message that the powers are used to flash 666 at us. Very wicked stuff. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Because it should have been over a long time ago. But the powers that be postponed the crash, and they gave us a few more years. And that's the reason why this song came out right after the cycle was broken. You may have had your fill, but we feel it still. So they're pointing straight at the average Joe of the generations. You see what I'm saying? So they're warning the average Joe that this is coming, but of course the average Joe doesn't know this. So they know that. You see, they just want to ease their worries by giving these little subliminal messages, even though they know that the average Joe won't read into this. So, and we can even go back just to confirm it. Where is it at? So you can see here, the skyrocketing and the postponing of the crash, and then the song coming out right around this time period here, and it completely went up. And you can see, when you read the subliminal message of the song, might be over now, but we feel it still. You had your fill, but we feel it still. So it adds up perfectly, and even with the generations and so forth. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. I have to basically get ready for work, unfortunately. Tomorrow, early in the morning, I don't believe if we have an attack on New York City or a catastrophe event that takes place, I don't believe it's going to happen early morning of the 23rd. It probably is going to happen late day of the 23rd, going into the new stock market open over in the Asian markets, which will also make sense. Also, on the Economics Magazine cover, I had a commenter basically commented on the arrow pointing to the moon right here. And it's almost like they're telling us that this point here, the markets will be up, and they point to the moon again to make us look at the moon, stating that this point of the crescent moon phase, the markets will be down. And if this is a resemblance of September, then September 23rd is the last quarter moon going to the crescent moon. And the first crescent moon here, if the markets are down, that makes perfect sense, because if you have a catastrophe that happens on September 23rd, then the markets will be crashing on September 24th, which makes sense. So anyway, that's pretty much it, and we're pretty much done. God bless to all, and Jesus loves all of you. God bless.